Hello everyone. Let me introduce myself. I'm Nguyễn Phương Hoa from Class English 5 External Economics, Foreign Trade University. What I'd like to present you today is about plan for communications. Is there such a thing as an ideal communication plan template? What will it look like? I've been spending 1 year surrounded by communications and marketing plans, and of course, I have my own experience and interest in this field. That's the reason why I want to present you this topic. I divided my presentation into 5 parts. Each part is the answer to 5 questions. What do we mean by communications? What is a plan for communications? Why and when should we develop a plan for communications? And how do we develop a plan for communication? By the end of my talk, you will be familiar with the term plan for communications. Well, let me start. I will begin my presentation by answering the first question. What do we mean by communications? Communication is a process of transmitting ideas and information. Communications can take many forms, including word of mouth, news stories in both print and broadcast media, press releases and press conferences, poster, brochure, and flyers, special event and open houses that your organization hosts. So, to communicate effectively, it helps to plan out what you want from your communications and what you need to do to get it. Okay, so that's the background information about communication. So let's move on to the next question. What is a plan for communications? Planning is a way to organize action that will lead to the fulfillment of a goal. Your goal in this case is to raise awareness about your initiative long-term benefits to your community. To develop a plan for communication of any sort, you have to consider some basic questions. What's your purpose? Who's your audience? What's the message? What communication channel will you use? How will you actually distribute your message? The answer to the question constitutes your action plan, what you need to do in order to communicate successfully with your audience. The remainder of your communications plan involves 3 steps. First, implement your action plan, design your message, and distribute it to your intended audience. Second, evaluate your communication efforts and adjust your plan accordingly. Finally, keep at it. Communication is an ongoing activity for any organization that serves, depends on, or is in any way connected with the community. The purpose, audience, message, and channels may change, but the need to maintain relationship with media and key people in the community remain. As a result, an important part of any plan for communications is to continue using and revising your plan based on your experience throughout the existence of your organization. This now leads us to the next issues. Why should you develop a plan for communications? Because a plan will make it possible to target your communication accurately. It gives you a structure to determine whom you need to reach and how. A plan can be long-term, helping you map out how to raise your profile and refine your image in the community over time. A plan will make your communication effort more efficient, effective, and lasting. Finally, a plan makes everything easier. If you spend some time planning at the beginning of an effort, you can save a great deal of time later on because you know exactly what you should be doing at any point in the process. Now, let's turn to the next point. Next question. When should you develop a plan for communication? The answer is as soon as your organization begins planning its objectives and activities. You should also begin planning ways to communicate them. Successful communications is an ongoing process, not a one-time event. Communications is useful at all points in your organization's development. It can help get the word out about a new organization, renew interest in a long-standing program, or help attract new funding sources. And we now reach the last issue. Question number 5. How do you develop a plan for communications? One way to look at planning for communications is as a 9-step process. The steps are: Step 1. Map the present situation. Step 2. Determine your goals. Step 3. Identify your target audience. Step 4. Develop key messages. Step 5. Choose strategies. Step 6. To tactics, select communication channels. Step 7. Create an action plan. Step 8. Estimate the budget. And step 9. Report and evaluate. There you have it. 9 logical sections in a strategic communications plan. Try to work through all 9 of these steps. Take care to tie different steps together. There is no such a thing as a perfect plan for communications. That is the part of the challenge of being a communicator. Each plan is different from the next, and much of it can come down to personal style. It may not be perfect, but you'll be well on the way to create a good plan for communications. Well, this brings me to the end of my presentation about communications plan. As you know, communication and marketing is now very hot for the young people hunting for future jobs. And in my talk, I give you such a useful guide for working in this field. The plan for communications. To be expert in communications as well as marketing, we all need to build up a very detailed communications plan for each project. Remember what I said? A plan makes everything easier. So this is the end of my talk. Hope you enjoy and find it interesting. Thank you for listening.